Have you ever been super impressed by those people that seem to have such an easy time taking action? They're the ones that are trying new things, learning new languages, traveling to new places, and they just don't seem afraid to put themselves out there. In this video, I want to go over 6 tips that I have to help you become more of a person that takes action, to help you become more action-oriented. So stick around. Hello, Dale Majors here, and welcome to another video. If you want to get more of what you want, then set a target and take action. The first thing you can do is subscribe and click the notification bell, and you will be on your way. Today we've got 6 tips I want to share, and we're going to jump right in with tip number 1, and it is you need to learn to make decisions. And I love the word decide because the root of decide is side. And side comes from the Latin word cadere, which means to kill or to cut off. And think about it. You have pesticide, you have herbicide, you have fungicide, you have homicide, right? It all means to kill and to cut off. So in this case, cut off all other options. So if you're thinking about, should I learn the piano, or should I learn French, or should I start working out more, and you can only choose one, instead of living in the land of like, oh, I'd like to do all these things, choose one and kill off the other options. Make a decision. Tip number 2 is to make a list. And not only just your regular to-do list, but to make a next actions list. Think about all the things that you have on your list or things that you've wanted to accomplish in the past, and look at those items that have stayed around. Those items specifically, I want you to look at them and think, what's the next thing that I need to physically do to bring progress towards that task? And then do that thing. So for example, they say that, it's the first step, a 100-mile journey starts with the first step, or I've heard the exercise advice of if you want to go on a jog every day, then every day you should get dressed in your exercise clothes and your running shoes and walk out to your sidewalk. And if you do that, you're much more likely to actually go on a jog. Tip number 2 can be dangerous though. Just operating from a to-do list has its own drawbacks, and that actually brings us to tip number 3, which is have a big picture plan. You're much more likely to wake up if you have something to wake up for. And let me rephrase that. You're much more likely to wake up early if you have something to wake up early for. So the story that we tell ourselves and the kind of game of life that we play will really dictate how motivated we are as we go about that. So if you have a task list that's going to help take you to your big picture goal, you're much more likely to accomplish those tasks. I recently created a 17-day masterclass where on day 6, I gave an overview of the HATS model. The HATS model is a way for you to create a clear picture of where you want to go in life and make a roadmap to get there. I'll include a link in the description. Tip 4 is to practice doing hard things. Every time we do something new or challenging, we develop a part of ourselves that gets better at doing hard things. So an example of that I recently learned from Alistair Humphreys, who was the 2012 National Geographic Explorer of the Year. He takes a cold shower every day. And that's something that I love to hear about because I've been doing that for 2 years for the same reason of learning to do hard things. You could also practice skipping meals. Do something hard that kind of takes you out of your comfort zone. One thing that Alistair does that I think is really awesome is every time he makes toast, he gets down and does some push-ups. Little things that we can practice doing every day to get better at doing hard things. Tip 5 is to get motivated by reading about others that have done it. So I get really motivated when I read stories about other people that have persisted, that have been decisive, that have really lived inspirational lives. Every time I read books like Louis Zamperini's Unbroken, or he was the runner in Unbroken, the pilot, or Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl, who was in a prison camp for several years in Nazi Germany. Reading those stories gives me a lot more personal power to try, and it gives me a perspective of the great and amazing hard things that other people have done, and it gives me more of a belief that I can do that too. So in order to be more motivated and more of somebody who just gets after it, then you can read about other people that have done it too. We become like those that we spend the most time with, that we read about, and if we want to be more of an action taker, then we should spend time and learn about people that are. Tip 6, and this is a bonus: if you're not motivated, you have a hard time putting yourself out there to take action, or if you're just burned out, then get outside and go for a walk, go for a jog, do something fun where you just kind of turn off that self-development part of your brain and get yourself out there with nature, and you'll be amazed at what types of different thoughts or epiphanies you have when you do that. That's all for today. Thanks for being here. If you're new to the channel, you'll want to subscribe and click the bell, and I release videos like this 5 days a week. Thank you, and I'll see you on the next video.